I'm Haley, a.k.a. Hales, on roosterteeth.com.
Tristan, a.k.a. Shagrazir on Rooster Teeth.
I am Alex, a.k.a. Chaos Black 21, a.k.a. Black Alex, as Joseph will call me sometimes.
It's true, he's Black Alex, but he's not black.
He could be black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joseph. On the site, I'm Jay Dunlap. Sometimes I'm the dude, sometimes I'm Steambeard. And this is our podcast.
It's going to be an awesome podcast. The awesome podcast. You just need to give it time to develop.
So we gotta wait for the podcast to grow the beard.
We do. It needs a beard, like your daughter.
No.
What?
With every growing podcast, your beard should just grow like 1 inch. Just and you could after like 30 of them, you could just like braid it. You could be Dumbledore. After
he would be
a
the
while.
Rapunzel of beards.
Ew.
Hey, I'd climb up the side of a tower for that beard.
You'd be
And
climbing
on
up with that
awkward
beard.
note,
I'm pretty sure you'd have food to last you probably a month left over in your beard. That's
I don't think you understand how beards work.
I
They
don't.
do catch food.
I really don't think I do. I'm the only girl
She
in this
wasn't that far
podcast.
off.
Unless I start
Anyway.
growing a beard, then I might have a problem.
Is that something you're likely to do?
To grow a beard?
Yes.
No. But anyways,
Haley, you had something you wanted to talk about.
I did. I want to see if there's like a general consensus of like top 10 hot like male video game characters and top 10. And it could be from like any platform, any old games, any new games, any of that. Obviously, I think a lot of the newer characters are going to be on it because they're made better.
So
But
I'm guessing the top 20 spots are going to be held by every character designed by Square Enix.
in my book,
That's probably at least half of my characters.
yay! I definitely have a couple in my list. Squall Leonhardt is the top.
You're breaking the voting system by putting your own bias on it.
I never said that. I'm just
Bleep
saying,
that part out, Joe.
No,
Bleep.
That's my personal. That's my personal number one. It doesn't have to be everybody's number one. It won't be number one, but he's my personal number one.
Now, when we're talking
He's my
about
husband.
voting, are we saying...
No,
that
no,
we
I
want our
know.
listeners
People are going
to
to vote, but for me, there is no
No.
voting. For me, there's just Squall Leonhardt. I
just asking
I
us
actually
to
want to
vote?
ask you guys to just give me a list, and I'm going to take which common characters I see.
Is this like homework, or should we have this by the end of class?
You should have this by the end of class, children, because if you don't, I'm going to be very, very, very disappointed in you.
Is this going to be on the exam?
Yes. This is going to be on the exam.
Okay, so I guess I have to be looking up characters while I'm talking about other
And
topics.
if I don't agree with it, then you're not.
So are you asking for us to tell you right now who our favorite characters are?
I would like
And
to hear
all of
some of your
mine
thoughts. I mean, you don't have to
be
have 10 right now. Like, I definitely want to hear what...
you want
like,
10?
She
Wow.
wants 10. She's like, this is an assignment, dude. This is half your grade.
Will there
have-
be a...
be
Is this
embedded right
take home? Is there
I
a
asked that.
retake?
No, she said she
There's
wants
an
it by the end
open
of
book.
class.
I will let you
Open
use
book.
your laptop.
Okay,
you all-
Cortana is my vote.
You have to... Cortana. You're just going to do one?
Well,
Just
that's where
one?
I'm starting. Cortana.
Okay. So you gave us a female, now give us a male.
Oh, I have to do both?
Yeah,
No, you
give us
don't
a-
have to.
It's more fun if you do, though.
Well,
I encourage-
I
okay,
don't
Commander
have- I don't
Shepard
have my
tends
males
to
yet.
be a pretty strong, prominent male character.
I've seen Commander Shepard. I haven't played the Mass Effect games. Not yet. That's on my big list of games to play. I'll give him on the list. I'll see how he ranks with other people, and I'll make a general consensus.
If
See
you're
what-
putting Shepard on there, then put Fem Shepard on there as well.
I think she's underappreciated.
Yes. Whenever I play as Fem Shepard, I tease, what's his face, Caden? Is that his name?
I have all the Mass Effects, but I haven't played any of them yet.
He's the one with the bionic powers.
No, I know him, but I kind of offed him in the first one, so...
Whoops!
Yeah, but what
Spoiler
I'm saying
alert.
is
Don't
the,
believe
Well, it can't be really a spoiler alert if it doesnn't always happen, right?
Well,
I guess
that,
not.
and not to mention that, how old is the game now?
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
you can't put spoiler alerts on something that's like...
okay, I've given my votes, so
Okay, let's hear everybody else's.
I guess for female, I don't know. I'm not good at this. I guess I would throw Samus Aran up there. There's a lot to choose from.
So you'd go with her first?
I think so. like I said, there's a lot vying for top spot, but, putting me on the spot, I'm just going to say Samus Aran.
Okay, and dudes?
And
Right.
for dudes,
I was actually really, really happy that someone brought up Samus, because she was, like, one of the first, like, major
female characters. Yeah, it's true. I think for males, I actually have to go with Jim Raynor from StarCraft.
Oh my god, I haven't played that game in forever. Way to make me feel a little old. But I think I'm actually one of the youngest people here, so that's cool.
I'm not getting into the age game. I'm not admitting to anything.
Yeah, let's not play that.
Joseph loses.
But I like that game. It's a lot of fun.
But yeah, I always just loved the appeal of Jim Raynor as a male lead in that game. Just he had the rugged looks, he had the rugged voice, and then he of course had the tragic backstory that made all of his decisions as a commanding officer make that much more sense. So he really appealed to me as a male lead in the storyline of that game.
I like that you got deep with it. Kudos to you.
I win the internet.
No, you don't.
Well, dang. I come close.
No. But I do give you props. All right. What about
I guess
you,
it's
Alex?
Alex's turn.
It does lead me to an important question.
No. Don't
Okay.
ask that question. Keep it to yourself. We'll have that discussion later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I actually have 11 girls right now on my list.
Jeez. Come on.
Wow.
Hey,
Save some
I
for
made a
the
top, I made a top 10 plus 1.
You sound like Caboose.
I like fluffy things.
That wasn't bad, actually.
Yeah, sorry, pardon my cold.
It's working for you. Rock it.
Okay, so Cortana and Samus are up there on my top 11. The Final Fantasy characters I have, there's 4 of them, and that's only because I couldn't think of other ones.
I'm about to give you mad props if one of my favorite characters is on that list, which I'm sure.
Aerith and Tifa.
Okay, obviously.
And then Yuna.
Okay.
And surprisingly, Fran from Final Fantasy 12.
That's a little. Oh, no, you're saying Fran. My brain went to Final Fantasy IX, Freya, the rat.
I have
I was
not
like,
played Final Fantasy IX, so.
She had a snout.
Hey, I liked Freya. She was like one of my favorite characters.
She was a dragoon, right? She was a
yeah.
dragoon.
Dragoons are one of my favorite classes.
There you go.
All right.
But that okay,
All right, I think he's got more.
Oh, I've got more. That's not all 11.
And
So you
that's
got
not all.
Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
Okay.
Chun-Li.
And then you've got the new Lara Croft. I don't really care for the old Lara Croft. I like the new Lara Croft.
Well, I don't think anybody
like dinner
really
platter
cares.
face Lara Croft.
He
What?
doesn't say. You didn't like the Madonna look that she was sporting back in the day?
No, I don't really care for that.
No, I don't really care for that.
I don't really care for that.
What? Now I'm talking a British voice.
I'd rather not have that if I'm given the option.
What if your legs didn't know they were legs?
Oh my god. Moving on. Okay.
I don't think we can.
Liliana from Dragon Age. And I'm very disappointed that in this one you cannot romance her.
Was she the one who was like living with the old witch and she wore basically nothing?
The thing is, I haven't played the first Dragon Age, but it sounds familiar, so I'm gonna go with that.
She had like really like slinky clothing on. It was like supposed to be kind of primal looking because she was like outdoorsy or something. It was weird. She had a really weird appeal.
She did get taken in by someone from the kind of like the religious stuff. So
I think I played Origins. I think that's where I met her.
yeah, so I think but in the new one you can't romance her because apparently she got romance. You could romance her in the first one, and so it's just like
So she's still
I have
romanced
to
by that
ask.
first guy, and you're not him.
Ask in Dragon Age, because I personally haven't played it yet. How do you romance somebody? Because I need to know this. Because do they do the whole like, let me Like, ask
Well,
them on a date. Or...
You haven't played Mass Effect yet either. It's the same thing in that. It's over time you talk with them like after each mission, and you kind of like if you choose the right things to say, then
so it's like a
they
glorified
start liking you more and more.
If you choose the flirt options, then it opens up their interest.
Yeah, it's a glorified Atome game, which I have to say are kind of fun. It brings dating to a whole new level. Not that it's actual dating, but...
I got two more. I have Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect 2. She would probably be my number one.
She was pretty.
She was pretty, and she had a British accent. It was just like, yep.
So apparently British accents turn Alex on.
Plus,
is that why he was talking in
do you guys remember the video that Joel made?
Yes, that was hilarious.
Yes, I do. The one where she kept talking and not listening to him.
Yes.
During the seduction scene. Yes, I recall.
Oh my god, I want to watch that again now all of a sudden.
Are you browsing Facebook right now?
I love basically every video that Joel put out because they were all completely ridiculous.
My eye won't stop twitching.
Why is your eye... I'm not going to ask. Don't answer. Don't.
Okay.
I don't
Just
know.
don't. I don't want to know.
This is the craziest one. Moxie from Borderlands.
Moxie. She had blue hair.
No, she was the one that... She runs the bar. She's got like the purple suit and hat and whatever, and she wears like the full face makeup.
Oh.
She's pretty looking. I just Googled her. She's cool looking. Dude, I'd cosplay that.
Speaking of cosplays, I just found a funny image on the internet.
Okay, cutting that.
Bleep!
We need technical difficulties music.
Okay, so that was my top 11.
And now your next
So-
homework is finding men.
Finding men.
Your homework is to find men, Alex.
I was hoping, I didn't know if anybody got that.
I said a man, but Alex apparently did not create a list of 11 men.
Not yet. I was going to.
When? Class is almost over.
Like the next podcast.
The next podcast.
Alex, I have an important question for you. Because
Sure.
you have 10 plus 1. Who's the honorable mention?
Yeah, which one's the honorable mention?
Probably Liliana, just because I am playing Dragon Age right now, so that's why I'm...
You
kinda
sound
infatuated
so
there.
much like Caboose right now. It's just,
So what you're saying is, before
You
RTX,
sound like
I
an
need to get a cold
Oh.
before RTX, and somehow get some blue Spartan armor, and then I can cosplay as Caboose.
that would be
You
hilarious.
need, you need
You
to
gotta,
spray
like,
paint
plug
him
your
so,
nose.
so that he is blue. And now he is a bionic man who
No,
is blue.
no, because that's church.
It's true. I just wanted you to say church.
Church.
Are you going to be best friends?
Breast?
We're gonna be.
Are you going to be
Breast
breast
friends.
friends? Okay. Please.
Well, it's the same thing as bosom buddies.
Bosom buddies.
For somebody.
It's true. It's a very old term that refers to something that Joe will get mad at me if I talk about.
You know, I'm gonna once this comes out, I'm going to listen to the podcast. I'm gonna be like, I sound nothing like Caboose.
It's true. It's
So you're going to
her.
say they're right. I do sound like Caboose.
I should have gone and voice acted.
Dang it! I could have filled in for Joel whenever he got actually sick.
You're sick. I'm
You just
sick.
get both of you sick. You get sick, get him sick, and then you can go do his job.
Wait, I screwed up my lines. Let's start over.
Okay, so I have one last thing planned. It's something I wanted to talk about, and it was a conversation I had a few days ago, and I thought, oh, this would be really awesome to talk about with everyone on the podcast. How many of you have read or seen or anything The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I've read 2 of the books and seen the
Uh-huh.
movie.
Yeah,
And
I
I
saw
saw
the
the
book.
old movies. Or a TV show, rather.
Okay.
And I heard some of the radio drama.
I saw the movie. It was a long time ago, though, so I don't remember it really. And like, I started reading the first part of the book, and then I never got through it.
Oh, it's so worth reading.
It is so worth reading. If you read the book, you will want to see all the other things because it is hilariously written. I do love it.
When that movie came out, so I probably saw it. I think I saw it. I just don't remember much about it.
I read the book way before that new movie came out.
I recall you saying that you were old, and then I recall just now you saying you were 15 when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Does not compute.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, Tristan, did you read the first two books?
Yeah, I read the first two books. I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
Okay, so you haven't read the last four.
No, I haven't read the last four.
Or the short
four? No, it's three. It's a 5-book trilogy.
It is, but there's a new one based on notes of Douglas Adams by
Yeah, but so were the
Eon
other
Colfer.
three. The last three were ghost written by his son.
Well, there's a sixth one by Eon Colfer called And Another Thing.
And Another Thing. Well, that makes sense at least.
Yeah. I've read all 6, and I've seen the movie, and I'm currently watching the BBC series. So,
wow. I didn't know it was that popular, to be quite honest.
Well, it started off as a radio play, and then he wrote a book series, and let me preface this by saying every time, what is this? What link is this that you just?
Ignore it. It's for Alex.
Oh, okay. You're passing notes in the middle.
Passing
of class.
notes in class. Shut up. Shh, don't draw attention. Teacher will see us.
This is the Dragon Age girl.
Okay.
Way to read the note.
Jesus.
You're gonna get.
I took the note and I read it to the rest of the class.
I'm going to click on it. Hopefully, I don't lose the call because I tried Googling earlier and I almost lost the call.
That's how we draw. No, don't then. Don't. Just tell me later. And
okay.
Joe, you're a terrible note passer.
You're a terrible note passer.
I'm the one who intercepted the note.
You stink.
So if like Tristan wrote a note in class to me that was like, "Would you got me? Yes or no?" You would read it out before you gave it to me.
I'm gonna pass that note next time.
Would you go?
Is that something that he's likely to do?
I'm likely to do it.
Tristan, so far twice I've made a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide, and it's gone unnoticed by you.
Is that something that he's likely to do in reference?
Yes.
I recognized it, but I don't remember the line that followed.
It's if I were to tell you that I am not in fact from Earth, but from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse, and he says, "Why is that something you're likely to say?"
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so it's
right at the beginning of the first book.
Yes, it started off as a radio play, and Douglas Adams wasn't one for maintaining canon as much as just telling a good story. So when he wrote the books, there were some small differences. He also wrote the movie, and there were some major differences, but they were his decisions. Anyway, with that in mind, Tristan will probably have the most to contribute, but those who have seen the movie at least have an idea of what we're talking about. The topic is, first off, is it too soon for a reboot?
It was made in 2005. I don't think so. I mean, look at the Spider-Man movies. I think the Spider-Man movies. I think the third one of the Rami, or is it Rami? The Rami part, because they're made by Sony. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man.
Oh, you mean Sam Raimi?
Is that how you pronounce it? Sorry,
yeah, Raimi. Sam Raimi.
So I think that one came out. When did that one come out? It came out.
But to be fair to that point.
It came out in 2007, and
that came out in 2007. But Spider-Man has existed since the 30s, 40s, something.
But at the same time, the movies don't really stick to the complete canon.
There is no complete, but the point is there is no complete canon because whether you're DC, whether you're Marvel, all of those comics have been rebooted so many times to keep up with the changing era. I mean,
exactly.
A lot of these, you've got Captain America who's been fighting Nazis for 50 years because he's set in 1943. And so when they brought him into the Avengers now, they had to find a way to time travel him forward because his setting is World War II. So they froze him, under the sea and then thawed him out 60 years later. isn't really a reboot of Spider-Man to have another Spider-Man movie unrelated to the first set, simply because you already have the comic books that are unrelated to each other. So you can say this set of movies was made from this set of comics or based loosely around, and then this set of movies is based around this era of Spider-Man. Whereas there's really only one telling of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at this point in time.
You can write a character, but the way an actor, coming from an actor as myself, no actor is going to do it the same way. Like
True.
how you've had a million Jokers in the years that DC has been around.
But only one of them counts.
How many people have voiced him or acted as him? They all take on.
Mark Hamill's the only one that counts.
Mark Hamill is the only Joker.
Mark Hamill is wonderful. Yes, wonderful.
There's more to the question, and the more important part of the question is whether the current moviegoers are ready to see Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy again. The humor, the way in which it's presented, whether people are ready for that, or whether we need to kind of get over that dark, gritty reboot kind of phase that we went through for literally everything.
That's a good question. My feeling is this. How well received was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy the first time, 2005 when it aired? Just because I think I felt like it didn't make the splash that, longtime fans of the book series were expecting, simply because the type of humor isn't very prevalent in America. The British humor versus American humor, they're very different. And so if you've been reading it as an American, it all makes sense. It's all very funny. If you've never, ever had a taste of British humor, it can be pretty jarring. I'm looking here on IMDb.com right now, and Hitchhiker's Guide on IMDb has a 6.8 out of 10, which that's not an end-all be-all rating for everything, obviously, but it has a Metascore of 63 out of 100. This tells me that just from, according to this one source, it was really average. It wasn't big. It was kind of as a movie. And as somebody who saw the film and read the book, I felt that there were things that the film did very well, and I felt that there were areas that left things to be desired. So even as somebody who read the book, wasn't completely swayed by the film. If you want my personal rating, I would have given it, maybe an 88, not 100.
I would argue that the film actually didn't capture the British humor at all. That the spirit of the books failed to make its way onto screen, and it was a little bit too American.
You think? It has been a while since I've seen it, but I thought that there was...
produced by an American...
Garth Jennings directed it, and he's from England.
Is he?
Yeah.
Very surprising then, because
it really
unless he was trying to target American audiences with it, which would have been weird, because it probably would have done better in England.
I feel like the BBC series really captured the spirit of the books better. Now, I liked the movie. So I guess I just wanted to bring that question up because I assert that while I would love to see it on screen again, that maybe in movie form it wouldn't be successful right now because we're in too much of a dark, brooding era in Hollywood. We want to see people be awesome and deal with their feelings, and that's usually in relation to economics and that kind of thing.
You're right. I mean, I am seeing a trend with Hollywood going into they're all it's all about the human spirit right now. That's what people are really...
Okay, so what I suggest, I mean, if we wanted to see this on screen in the next, say, 3 years, I actually think it would be successful. We don't call Game of Thrones a miniseries because there's seasons, but it's always 10 episodes. And I kind of think as a sort of 10 episodes a season sort of miniseries, much like how long seasons are in the BBC, that might actually be somewhat successful. Would anyone disagree with that?
I think rebooting the BBC thing would be a good idea, because the BBC, I've never not seen a BBC thing that didn't stick true to what they were if it was an adaptation or something. They did a wonderful job with Pride and Prejudice. Yes. They did something else just recently, and now the name is escaping me. But never have I ever seen like a BBC that wasn't well received and well done. That's my
Okay,
opinion.
that's all to lead up to this final question, and I want everyone's feedback on this. Who is your perfect cast?
Oh, jeez.
Let's start with Marvin. Does anyone think that Alan Rickman wasn't perfect?
I think Alan Rickman is the first person I go to for Marvin.
He was perfect for Marvin. However, there's one other person I thought of that would also do a good job.
I thought of Alan Rickman without even remembering that he was Marvin.
Nice. I also think Nick Offerman would be good.
Oh my god, I love Nick Offerman. He's just a funny guy anyway.
I was actually going to talk about Arthur, but let me just look at Nick Offerman for a second.
Nick Offerman's the guy from Parks and Rec.
Didn't ever watch that.
What?
Okay, go to Team Coco on YouTube, Conan O'Brien's channel, and look for Nick Offerman reads tweets from young female celebrities. That's one of his bits. But he's also in Parks and Recreation. Anyway, Trillian is I feel like they didn't cast her right in the movie. As much as people love Zooey Deschanel, I feel like that wasn't the right choice for Trillian. Tristan, how would you describe Trillian?
Trillian was the girl from Earth who took off into the stars because she was bored of life on Earth and is now unsure of where she's going with her life. So it kind of summed up the type of characters that Zooey Deschanel tended to play for me, honestly. She kind of played these manic characters who kind of wanted to be everything and do everything but weren't really sure how to go about it.
Yes, but the key part of the character of Trillian, I agree with everything you said. The key part of her character that was missing in the movie is the fact that Trillian is quite disappointed with the way that her life has turned out. And that has made her a very bitter person, an unhappy person. And with that, I would cast Trillian with Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec.
All these choices are from Parks and Rec, and I've never seen Parks and Rec.
I've never really seen it, but I've seen her.
The girl. I know what you're talking about.
The emotionless one?
Yeah.
Yes. She, to me, is Trillian. That's how I view Trillian.
What about Jessica Hines from Spaced, the roommate? She, in Spaced, she's basically been evicted. She's homeless. She's jobless. She's looking for a way to stay in London. The only way is to get a roommate and present themselves as a successful couple. So she gets together with Simon Pegg's character, and they pose as a married couple to rent a flat in England, in London. They're kind of stuck together by circumstance. She's kind of depressed about where her life has gone. She keeps trying to improve it, but things don't tend to go her way, and things become more difficult the more she tries. So that kind of nailed what you were talking about in my eyes.
Yeah, and it's got Simon Pegg, apparently. He's good.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be a terrible Arthur, although we'll get to Arthur. I've got a list.
Yeah, actually, I was just looking at my choices for Arthur.
Arthur's difficult, but the next one I want to cast is Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Oh my
and
God.
While the movie Zaphod was good, I think we can do better.
Can I have John Cleese?
Sure, although he may be too old.
I don't think he can ever be too old for anything because he's too amazing. I think he does crazy, manic, and schizophrenic beautifully.
This is another Parks and Rec choice, and this was all on accident, but you'll know who this is. Chris Pratt would be an excellent Zaphod.
Chris Pratt is amazing.
He's got a screen presence. He knows how to do TV. He's hilarious. And I would love to see him do the American rock star.
I only know him from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Most people do.
But he was really fun in Guardians. Yeah, it's hard. I haven't seen him do anything else, so it's hard for me to see that manic and schizophrenic that Zaphod really exudes.
You need someone who can really commit to the role. At first, I was thinking Turk from Scrubs, but then I realized he just didn't have that presence and that versatility that you have to be Zaphod, and that's what I thought of Chris Pratt.
I do think that Turk from Scrubs does have, the kind of wild and crazy, but you're right, he does not really have the presence. I agree.
Now, Arthur is a difficult one, and Ford as well. Now,
I've got an idea for
how I would describe Arthur, and I take issue with the Arthurs from the TV series and the movie. In the movie, of course, you've got Martin Freeman, and he's excellent as Bilbo. And after seeing Hitchhiker's Guide, and then I heard he was going to be Bilbo, I said, well, actually, I think how he was in Hitchhiker's Guide was very much like Bilbo, but not so much like Arthur.
Can I admit something really sad?
Go ahead.
I wanted to vote for Martin Freeman.
I really think he's too adventurous, and the reason, and the BBC version, while he's not adventurous, is a little bit too energetic. And the way that I would describe Arthur,
he had done Hitchhiker's Guide.
He did. You really need to rewatch this movie before you start putting people that were already in it.
I didn't know who any of these guys were. They were just faces on a screen. They didn't have names back then. I have since learned who they are. Just people on a screen going, okay, yeah, that's Arthur. And so I gotta be honest, when you were like, who would you cast? I went, okay, we went to Alan Rickman. I was like, oh, he was cast, and that's who I would have gone to. And now Martin Freeman is who I would have cast as Arthur Dent.
There's a movie I think you'd like. It's called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No way! I need to go watch it right now.
I think there's a movie you'd like.
Okay, the issue I take with BBC's and the movie is the way I would describe Arthur is almost like the hero Emmett in the Lego movie, but not quite, in that he's the most apathetic, uninteresting character. The only thing that makes him happy is getting his Earl Grey tea, and I feel like so far he hasn't been cast right. And I can't think of the perfect person, although I have an idea of who he could be, because I was thinking about who Ford should be. And Ford has that presence where if he looks at you in the right way, you kind of think he's about to do something crazy.
Yes.
So who knows the Flight of the Conchords?
Cricket.
It's a band. It's two guys, and they play together. They do like folk, hip-hop, kind of humorous music. It's just them on their guitars. Yeah. They're from New Zealand. If you don't know who they are, you need to look them up.
I've heard of them. I know that they're a band, but I've never listened to them.
Okay, well,
are they from New Zealand?
Yes. And the two of them, one is kind of soft-spoken, and one of them is really nutty. And I feel like their dynamic would be really, really good. The nutty one, Jermaine, Brett is the quiet one, Jermaine's the nutty one, and he has actually been in some indie movies that have been made in the past 5 or 6 years. And I don't know that Brett has done anything, but I feel like those two would be really good. Now, when you look up Flight of the Conchords, that's your homework, also imagine what it would be like for Jermaine to be Zaphod, because that would be interesting as well. That's all I had. And I think next time Alex was going to talk about Halo 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You've been doing some beta?
I played a little bit of the beta like a few weeks ago. I think it's done. So
it's done. Well, you'll be the one with the frame of reference then, and we'll talk about that.
I'm excited to talk about that actually, because Halo's we've got some love-hate relationship going on with some Halo.
Uh-oh.
Someone got owned.
What? No.
Nah, never.
I never said that.
May or may not have been teabagging involved.
I may or may not
Bleep
be
that.
best
Bleep!
Halo player. My love-hate relationship comes from something else.
This has been a
Rage.
test of the emergency Haley bleeping.
I didn't say anything.
We're just bleeping your existence right now. Hang on.
Whoa. That escalated
Really quickly.
really quickly.
What a great end to a great podcast.
Wonderful.
And it's over. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
That was nice, Alex.
That sounded exactly like Caboose.
Good. I was hoping it would.
Goodbye, everyone.
Gavin or Google, Google or Gavin, which one's that? Let's find out.
I'm feeling lucky.
I love him so much.